So today is the first lecture. We'll start with terminology. The role of terminology is very important. Yesterday we discussed 2022 question paper. In the 2022 question paper, 5 terms were been asked. We have to express the meaning of the term with an example. So we are proving, oh, compassion means this, sympathy means this, empathy means this, objectivity means this. So the first term, we start with ethics. Ethics means society point of view. We have to understand these things. Ethics, remember forever. Whenever the word ethics come, it is in the context of society. For every society, there will be ethics. Societal ethics. For every individual, there will be morals. For society, there will be no morals. For individual, there will be morals. Means individual context is morals. Societal context is ethics. If you use the word societal moral, then wrong. Completely wrong. There is nothing called as societal morals. There is something called as societal ethics. There is nothing called as individual ethics. There is nothing called as individual ethics. We don't have any individual ethics. We have individual morals. So first we need to decode, we need to understand the terms. So the ethics, the term ethics comes from the Greek word which is called as ethos, which is nothing but a custom or a habit. The word ethics come from Greek word which means ethos, which means habit or custom. Individual will have a custom or a society will have a custom. Individual will have a custom or a group will have a custom. Customs. Customs will be for a community. Customs will be for a group. Individual doesn't have any custom. So ethics is the word we have to use in the context of society. This all matters when you are writing an answer. You wrote fastly, individual ethics. I have a lot of individual ethics. Then he will throw the answer sheet. Why? Because individual ethics is not there. Ethics examines moral standards of one, moral standards of society. Means if I take society as a unit, if I take society as a one, if I take society as a unit, that means as an individual society, if I take as an individual, then that society will have morals. That moral of an individual is called as ethics. I am taking society as a unit, society as an individual. So every individual will have morals. So morals of society is ethics. When the society, if I am taking as one unit, when society I am taking as a one unit, that moral of the society is ethics. Morals of the society is ethics. So in societal context, we will have ethics. Individual context, we have morals. Ethics are set of rules, guidelines agreed upon by the society, which guides appropriate conduct or allowable action for a group or members. It focuses on conduct or actions of individuals. Means my action, individual performance should be according to societal ethics. For example, if I am in Taliban society, discriminating women is ethics. Discriminating women is ethics. It's accepted behavior of the individual in the society of Talibani. So if you are discriminating a woman, it is not called as unethical. If you are discriminating a woman, it is called as ethical. Why? Because the society is Talibani society. So the ethics will be according to the society. For example, if we talk about patriarchal system means male-dominated society. And if any person is coming from outside or a person is coming from matriarchal society, female-dominated society, if we see that everyone are giving inferior status to women, you cannot tell anything to them. Why? Because that is their societal. So the ethics are individual, it's individual society orientation. So the first and the foremost, whenever we talk about the ethics, we are talking from the context of society. India also have the ethics and we have to follow India's ethics. So India's ethics are present where? India ethics are present in the constitution. India ethics are present where? In criminal procedure code. India ethics are present where? In CPC, civil procedure code. India ethics is present where? In the rule of law. For example, again, so society point of view, there is ethics. Community point of view, there is ethics. Group point of view, there is ethics. Similarly, for every profession also there are ethics, like lawyer ethics, doctor ethics, civil servant ethics. Every profession have ethics, because profession itself is a society. Means people who are working in the banking sector have their own ethics. People who are working in judiciary will be having their own ethics. The people who are working in civil services will be having their own ethics. Again, the ethics in a society, there will be a broad ethics, and inside the profession also there will be ethics. There will be college ethics. So in this college, this type of behavior is accepted. In this college, this type of dress code you have to wear. That is ethics of the college. So that means it can be a society, it can be a profession, it can be a group, it can be an institution, it can be a workplace. Those all will have ethics. Means never we can talk ethics in a individual context, but we can call ethics in the point of view of group or an institution or a place or a workplace. Workplace also will have ethics. Following the boss is ethics. Why? Because it's a workplace. It is designed in such way. Those are called as rules and regulations. Those are called as guidelines. Those are called as procedures. Lawyers have ethics. A client came. I am advocate. He is a client. He told that, yes, I am a criminal. I did this mistake. I am hiring you. I am hiring you. So what is the duty of the advocate? What is the duty of a lawyer? The duty of a lawyer is to support his client, not a criminal. He is not bothered about his antecedents. The lawyer is not bothered about his criminal thing. That will be taken care by judiciary. That will be taken care by the judges. He is my client. So obviously I have to try to protect him. Why? Because this is my work ethics. This is my professional ethics. For example, if a person came, I'm a doctor, and he told that, sir, I have this disease. I understood that this cannot be treated. Whether the doctor will leave or whether the doctor will try to give something or doctor will advise something, he has to do something. We cannot leave him like that. Why? Because it is ethics of a doctor. So it might be an institution, it might be a profession, it might be a society, it might be a group. There will be ethics. Value. First understand the terms. Value. What is value? Every individuals will have principles. Every individuals will have principles. In those principles, highest importance, what you are giving is called as value. In those principles, the most high priority principle is called as value. I have a lot of beliefs. I have a lot of beliefs. In that beliefs, one belief I want to stress more. In that beliefs, I want to stress one as high priority. That high priority belief is called as value. Honesty is my value. I have a lot of principles. In that, honesty is my value. Value, the principles and ideals that helps them in making judgment of what is more important. What is this? This word is everything. We have to identify this word. What is this word? More important. So a lot of principles are there. In those principles, that is called as value, which you are giving highest importance, which you are giving high priority. For you, that is very, very important. I'm not going to compromise on it. It is called as value. They are most important of all beliefs. So I value my job. I value my time. I value my service. I value my devotion to job. I value people's welfare. Means rest all are important, but most important is that thing. That most important thing is called as value. In several beliefs, in several principles, one thing is high priority. That is called as belief of a person can be changed easily, but values are very, very difficult to change. Beliefs can change. Why? Because I'm not giving highest importance, but value cannot be changed. Why? Because the most important is value. It's valued. I'm not going to change on this context. Yes, I can compromise on this. I can compromise on this, but I will not compromise on this. Is called as value. So in every society, there are ethics are there. Ethics are nothing but principles, rules and regulations, guidelines. In that ethics, in that rules and regulations, in that guidelines, in that principles, some or one is most important for me. That is called as value. So in ethics, there will be values will be there. So what is values? Values is not equal to ethics. Ethics is huge number. In that ethics, some are or few are very, very important, or one is very important, that is called as values or value. Some values are universally appreciated, that is humanitarian. Some values vary with respect to culture. For example, vegetarianism. Party is happening. Everyone is eating non-vegetarian. One person is not eating. Everyone is poking him. Why are we fools? You are only good boy. You will eat or not, then we will not eat. Still, my value is vegetarianism. I am not going to eat. You, whatever you do, you tell me anything, I will do. But I will not do this. That is called as value. So, in the principles which are present, if one particular aspect or few are, not only one, few aspects, if I am giving high priority, those are called as values. In 2020, a perfect instance of dutifulness was witnessed in Rishikesh. There is one particular lady called as Shahida Parveen. How? Value. Shahida Parveen in Rishikesh. She was at COVID times. In COVID times, everyone are worried. Two things happened in Uttarakhand in 2020 and 2021, in the middle of 2020 and 2021. Floods, COVID. Everyone run away means they are escaping because of the COVID, because of floods. One lady, Shahida Parveen, she was very strong and she gave highest importance to dutifulness. As yesterday I told you, Jalli Kirti is one of the lady, an IAS officer of Assam, like you, who sacrificed her marriage. Why? Because she gave highest value to dutifulness. She gave highest value to devotion to the duty. That is called as a value. In spite of COVID fear, in spite of floods which is happening, she was very, very rigid, and she made the migrant workers to stay in police station. Shahida Parveen. The best example of value, she gave value to what? Dutifulness. Not to personal interest, not to her own interest, but for dutifulness. That is called as value. Morals, understand this. Ethics, values, morals. Morals held by individuals which help them distinguish between right and wrong. Morals is in individual context. My morals is distinguishing what is right and what is wrong. If again I am from Taliban society, or in Pakistan, one example I will tell you. In Pakistan, what happened few years back, there is one lady called as Fatima Bibi. This lady was practicing Christianity in secret. In secret, she is practicing her Christianity. Some people came to know. She was not outside, she was not open. So in her home, inside the home, very secretly, she is practicing Christianity. Someone noticed it. Someone noticed it and information came out. And all the mob came in front of her house, and she was being brought out. She was being brought out and she was being thrown out, and she is beaten to death by stones. Stone pelting was happened on her. Then every individual didn't feel any repent. Why? Because it is their moral. In their society, everyone should follow Islam. It is the right to them. It is right to them. According to the society. It is right to them according to society. We saw a lot of videos. ISIS killing the women who don't have veil. ISIS people killing the women who don't have veil. If a slight of the skin is also visible. Iran. What happened recently? Iran. If if hijab is absent, they killed one woman. It's an acceptable behavior for them. They are satisfied. Why? Because it is their moral. What is right, what is not right, if it is decided by the individual, that right thing is called as moral. Yes, this is my morals. So morals are in the context of individual. Ethics are in the context of society. Values are the most important principle, is called as value. There will be no societal morals, but there will be individual morals. According to my society, I will be deciding what is right and what is wrong. What is right and what is wrong is called as morals for me. For example, capital punishment or medical termination of pregnancy can be good or bad depending on the morals of a person. For example, Islamic society or Christian society, medical termination of pregnancy by artificial mechanism is a sin, according to Christianity. But again, whether I have to go with the medical termination of pregnancy, it's my individual thing. That yes, you can go is my moral. No, I should not go is. For example, I will tell you one more example. S.R. Shankaran, a person of 1952 IAS cadre, a great individual. This person is from Tamil Nadu. His cadre is from Andhra Pradesh. He is a person responsible for abolition of bonded labor 1976. Because of his efforts only, bonded labor was abolished. Abolition of bonded labor 1976 Act. He is the person who acted as interlocutor, as a mediator between the Naxalism as well as the government. S.R. Shankaran. When for the first time, when he posted as the district collector of Kurnool, he is the person, a very big lavish building, British buildings. British buildings are the collector bungalows now. The lavish British building was been given as official residence for the district collector, S.R. Shankaran. What he did? It's officially, for him only it is. It is for him, you have to use it. But his moral, no, what I have to do with this building? He donated his building. How much time he was there in Kurnool district? That much time he donated that building, his residence, for government school. That is his individual. No one told. Whether society told, no. Whether it's a rule, whether it's a principle, no. It's an individual decision. He thought this is right. That is called as morals. My moral, where I can live in a single room, why I want this 20 rooms house? So he donated his building to the government school. That is called as individual level. It's not ethics. Whether it is ethics that we have to give our house, we have to give our residence, no. Whether it is a value, no. It's they gave me as I am an officer, they gave me. But what I did, that is called as what I did at the level of individual is called as. He donated for 3 years his official residence, which was Kurnool, given to the government schools. Again, new person came. He took his residence. It is his moral. He took his residence. I am a district collector. I need to have a very good lavish house. Please, you government school people, you go away. They went away. It is that person's moral. This is this person's. He got in 2005 Padma Shri Award. Sorry, Padma Bhushan Award he got. Padma Bhushan. Padma Bhushan third, Padma Vibhushan second, Bharat Ratna first. Padma Bhushan Award he got from Government of India in 2005. It's a very good award. He told. He very, very politely, very, very humbly rejected the Padma Bhushan Award, saying that I did my duty. This was my duty because of which I got my salary. Why you people are giving me a reward or giving me title by the name called as Padma Bhushan? So he very politely rejected it. It is his moral. Why? Because what is his moral? He told that I did what is my. S.R. Shankaran was an Indian civil servant, social worker, and the chief secretary of the state of Tripura, known for his contributions for the enforcement of abolition of bonded labor. One among the 7 civil servants held hostage by the People's War Group, Naxalites. He was a mentor to the Safai Karmachari Andolan leader, Bejawada Wilson. Government of India awarded him with the third highest civilian honor, Padma Bhushan, in 2005 for his contribution to the society, but he declined. That is his moral. In the same way, our Mohan Babu got Padma Shri. What he did in all titles, Padma Shri, then someone went to Supreme Court and told that he is using this title for advertisement. Then Supreme Court told that don't use this honorary awards for advertisement. Only in government functions only you have to use these titles. If not, your title will be taken away. Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Bharat Ratna, these are not for advertisement. Everywhere we should not use, means everywhere means who got should not use it. They have to use only in official meetings. That much high standard, high reward. He rejected it. I'm not talking about the rejection. I'm talking about his moral. His moral is what? His moral is, I did my duty. So what big thing I did? I was being recruited for this purpose. So I performed it. For that, you no need to give me award. That is the individual. So morality is at individual level. Ethics is at, if you understand this point, the today's class is successful. Ethics is in societal context, morals is in individual context, values is in the principles which are present, which is most important is values. It can be anything. For example, if it's honesty, truthfulness, or good behavior, in this, what I am giving importance. For example, some people will give highest importance to punctuality. Whatever it may be, I will come on time. Some people will give importance to attendance. 100% I will be attendance. Means highest value is giving to attendance. Highest value is giving to punctuality. Among all the principles, what is giving importance is called as value. His social welfare activities earned him the moniker People's IAS officer. People's IAS. This person, the People's officer, is the only IAS to be honored with a statue. Here is why. Shankaran was an IAS officer from 1956 cadre batch, whose tireless efforts towards upliftment of the poor and downtrodden throughout his career made him a virtuous example, not just for scores of civil servants and aspirants, but also citizens. For everyone, he is a role model. A lot of examples we can get. Value, ethics, morals. Next term. Ethos. Ethos. I told you, principles. That principles together is called as ethos. Ethos, character that is used to describe the guiding beliefs or ideals that characterize a community, nation, or an ideology. Ethos, a club of principles. Ethos means a club, a bunch of principles is called as ethos, which guide a society, which guide a nation, which guide a community is called as ethos. Individually, together it's called as ethics. As a bunch, it is called as ethos. In modern usage, ethos denotes the disposition, character, or fundamental values peculiar to a specific person, people, corporation, culture, or movement. Ethos is nothing but a bunch of principles together is called as ethos. For every group, for every community, for every society, there will be ethos. Same, ethos or ethics. Conscience. Gandhiji once told, the highest court is court of conscience. Highest court is court of conscience. There is no other court greater than court of conscience. Gandhiji famously said that there is a higher court than courts of justice, and that is court of conscience. Individual, inner soul. If you go deeper, inner soul. A cognitive process that elicits emotion and rational association based on an individual's value system. The voice of the inner self, which says yes or no when we are involved in a moral struggle. Actions done against conscience leads to remorse and frustration. So every individual will have an inner soul. That inner soul is called as conscience. You have to understand that particular meaning, but the points are also important. Why? Because you have to add content to your point. For conscience, you have to add content also. These three content also important, relevant content. Anytime, if we do against our conscience, whether we will have remorse or not, whether we will cry inside or not, obviously we will cry inside. Whether it is giving happiness also, but still something will be there. That is called as conscience. That is the highest court of justice. The highest court of justice for an individual is court of conscience. Ethics, values, morals, ethos, and conscience. Conscience as a faculty of moral cognition that enables us to ascertain what is morally right and what is morally wrong. Mode of developed sensibility such that we feel painful regret and remorse when we act contrary to it. Conscience is an internal judge of the moral worth of our end, according to Kant, which is internal, which is internalized, which is the highest court of justice. If we do against it, we are going to have a remorse, and we follow what is wrong and what is correct according to our internal conscience. Sometimes every individual, every man who is having sound mind, Every individual who is having a sound mind will have conscience. And that conscience will be responsible for his actions. One, he told I did. He told you did what your conscience did then. He asked me to keep signature, so I kept his signature. Then what your conscience did? Lakshmi, one lady was there. Very senior IAS officer. Very, very senior IAS officer of Andhra Pradesh cadre, United Andhra Pradesh cadre. Her mistake was government, means politicians, forced her to keep a signature as a secretary to the Department of Mines, government of Andhra Pradesh. Because of the force from the chief minister himself, she kept a signature, because of which she is inside the prison for 3 years. She is inside the prison for 3 years. Why? Because the administration will run on the name of administrators, not on the name of politicians. Politicians will not face anything. Why? Because the signatures will be made by the administrators. The implementation part is whom? Administrators. Just policy making is by, so they will make the policy, but implementation is, so you will be on very tight rope. You have to walk very carefully. Why? Because they will make a policy, but implementation is by you. So when you are implementing, what about your conscience? He told you to keep signature, then what happened to your conscience? You know, that is wrong. Not today, someday it will come out. So after it come out, what you will do? No one helped her. No one helped her. She was alone. After how many years? After 12 years, she went into jail. She wrote one book also, Remorse. In that book, she mentioned, at that time, my conscience was telling not to sign, but I signed it because of the pressure from politicians. Then you should have resigned. Why? Because job is important or conscience is important? What is important? Conscience is. Once, yesterday we discussed this. Once Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, as I told you yesterday, he told to bring some rice. All his disciples went and brought rice. Only one person did not brought it. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa told to bring the rice by stealing. All the disciples stealed like experts. They came. Only one person did not came. Then Ramakrishna asked, what happened, Swami? You are failed in stealing. I planned. I had a strategy also. I had one Doom bike also. But still, I could not steal because someone is watching. Who is watching? Conscience is watching. So the conscience told me, if no one is watching, someone is noticing, that someone is called as conscience. So he could not do the stealing. Conscience, he gave highest importance not to Guru also. Yes, parents also not important. Guru is also not important. God is also not important. The most important is self. The most important is inner self. The most important is soul. Every soul, he might be a Veerappan also, he have his own soul. It might be Dawood Ibrahim also, he have his own soul. That is soul or inner soul is called as. Then why they become criminals, sir? Once we fall into the loop, we cannot come out. That is the problem with criminality. Once we enter into the loop, conditionally or unconditionally, accidentally or intentionally, we fall into the loop, we cannot come out. As I told you yesterday, one example. Once you took corruption, you have to take corruption. Once into contact into ever. Once, ever. So that once, for the first time when we are doing, we have to follow our conscience. Then virtue. What is this term called as virtue? Tell me, what is this virtue? Quality. Very good. Quality, high quality. The meaning of virtue is high quality. Cornerstone. Cornerstone, if not, the building will collapse. The most important aspects are called as virtues. Cardinal values of virtues is given by Aristotle. For every society, there will be virtue. For every individual, there will be virtue. For every examination, there will be virtue. For example, in your prelims examination, there is something called as virtue, which is called as Indus Valley Civilization, Buddhism, Jainism. Compulsory, they will ask this question. It's virtue. If your prelims preparation is without Indus Valley Civilization, Buddhism, Jainism, you doesn't have virtue. Means the most important aspects are called as virtue. Moral excellence. quality that is deemed to be morally good, habitually and firm disposition to do the good. Whatever it may be, I am going to maintain this. Whatever it may be, I am going to have this. Whatever it may be, I am going to excel is called as virtue. That is the reason in civil service examination, top 10 ranks will be those people who will be giving virtue for preparation. The highest importance is preparation. If you also decide today my virtue is going to be preparation, then obviously you will get the rank. Why? Because you are giving highest importance to preparation. In the same way, in ethics also, for any principle, if you give highest standard, virtue is more than value. Sir, then value and virtue are same? No, virtue is something above the cosmos. Virtue is something which is above self, which we give highest. It can be good or bad. Again, it can be good or bad. Personal virtues are characteristic valued as promoting collective and individual greatness. The 4 cardinal virtues given by Aristotle as well as Plato. Plato gave some cardinal virtues. Aristotle gave some cardinal virtues. So 4 cardinal virtues are very famous given by Plato. Temperance, prudence, courage, justice. Every individual should have 4 virtues according to Plato. Those are temperance, calm, thoughtful, mindful is called as temperance. Sometimes we will be very much quicker. Sometimes we make decisions. Sometimes in angry, we will do some things. If we want to avoid it, what we need to have? Temperance. Temperance, mindfulness. Temperance, calm, compose. Yes, 100% is virtue. The people who are successful today are who have virtues, such as temperance, such as prudence. What is prudence? What you are following, what you are believing. If you are believing very rigidly, it is called as prudence, prudent. I am going to prepare for civil services and no one is going to stop me. Prudence. What you are believing and you are believing it very strongly is called as prudence. Let them remove me from the service, but I am not going to change my ethics, my morals is called as prudence. Whatever may be the consequence, I am going to be steady with my honesty. It is called as prudence. Whatever may be the outcome, I am going to do my karma is called as prudence. Temperance, prudence, courage, fortitude. What is courage? Courage, fortitude. You know that something unwanted is going to happen if I follow this. You know that something compulsory, this will happen if I do this. But still, if you are doing it, is called as fortitude. If I reject this agreement, if I reject that I want a signature, compulsory is going to transfer me, I know that. But still, if I don't sign, it is called as fortitude. Courage-oriented honesty is called as fortitude. Courage-oriented honesty. Honesty is just being honest. Just being honest is called as honest only. It's not a big thing. Integrity. When no one is noticing, if you are honest, it is called as integrity. That is also. But most big is fortitude. When something consequence, negative consequence, you are going to be injured, you are going to be affected, you are going to have disadvantage, but still if you are honest, it is called as fortitude. That is a courageous decision. So now in civil services, we don't want honesty people. In civil services, we don't want integrity people. We want the people who are fortitude oriented. Yes, let it be. I'm going to follow my own belief system. I am going to follow my own virtues. I am going to follow my own values. I am going to follow my own morals. I didn't use the word ethics. Why? Because ethics will not come in individual context. Ethics will not come in individual context. So morals, values, virtues, that is called as prudence. Finally, I am going to deliver what? Justice. What is justice? I am going to do. So 4 cardinal virtues according to Plato. TPCJ. Temperance, prudent, courage, justice. Temperance, prudence, courage, justice. TPCJ. Aptitude. The next is aptitude. Yes, I will come for doubts. Please wait. I will ask you for doubts. Then you can ask me doubts. Yashwant Jevaji, wait. Aptitude. After aptitude, we will have doubts. Aptitude, attitude, totally different. Aptitude means reasoning. Aptitude, mental alertness. Aptitude, skill. Aptitude, intelligent quotient. Aptitude, knowledge. Aptitude, skill. This is all called as aptitude. That is the reason aptitude is there in every examination. You tell me in which examination aptitude is not there? In which examination after UPSC till 2013 it is not there? They understood that people are coming, but the people doesn't have. So we need to have aptitude. CSAT, civil services, aptitude test. Aptitude is one's ability to learn or acquire new skills, competency to do certain kind of work, mostly determined by nature, more oriented towards the cognitive aspect of intelligence. Public servants require certain aptitude that can enable them to do their task in the most optimum manner. When you have aptitude, smart work, the same work can be done with optimum capacity with minimal work. For example, there is one particular officer, he is called as Collector Bro. He is Collector Bro Prashant Nair of Kerala cadre. When he was a district collector of Kozhikode, he had came up with a lot of initiatives. Sitting at home by using social media, sitting at office by integrating the people of like-mindedness who want to work for the society. And he came up with a lot of initiatives, this person. This person came up with a lot of initiatives. How Kerala's Collector Bro harnessed the power of social media to save lives. In 2018, very big floods came in Kerala. By using social media, he integrated the people. He got the information, who are people located. And he went on the boats when the water came inside the cities. Kozhikode. He went inside and brought them, saved them. Not only he alone, he had a team. Not only in Kerala, across the world, of Malayalam descent, of Kerala descent. Lot of initiatives like Compassionate Kozhikode, Operation Suleimani, Kozipedia. This Operation Suleimani is very interesting. What is this Operation Suleimani means? Food coupons will be given in some places, some dedicated places will be there. Their food coupons will be provided. Who want to eat food, they can go to that particular place and they can take the food coupon and they can go to limited restaurants who are in contact with this particular organization or this particular person, and they can exchange the coupons and they can get food. Then who is the contributor? Not government. Why government will give? So he created a social media platform. He created groups and people voluntarily contributed, and people who cannot eat the food, they can eat the food by this coupon. How he made the people to come together, just used social media. This is a very good example how social media can be a weapon for welfare and development. How social media can be used for the welfare of the society. In 2011, till 2011, complete West Asia and Middle East Asia, like Tunisia, Egypt, Sudan, Syria, Morocco, these all countries in the West Asia and Middle East Asia, Northeast Africa also, are dominated by dictators. Nearly 30 years, 35 years, 40 years, only one family is ruling. For example, in Tunisia, a small country but a tourism spot, northern tip of Africa, Mediterranean coast. 60% of the revenue of that country will be through tourism. And 50% of the land in that country is owned by one family. 50% of the land in that country is owned by one family, and who are ruling the country for 35 years. One wave came through social media. One wave. Within 11 days, by social media, Facebook and Twitter and all, people all came together. Within 11 years, 35 years of kingdom was been removed. That is the power of social media. How we are using the social media is very important, and this person used the social media very, very properly. That is called as what? Aptitude. That is called as aptitude. Without what government will tell you, district collector, if you are a district collector, whatever you want, you do. Don't ask me money. Number one. treasury, limited funds we gave. Number 2, you should follow rule of law. Apart from that, any initiative you can bring. And that initiatives were being properly used by this person. A Prashant Nair, who was a district collector of Kozhikode at 2018, ushered in a new era of governance that endeavored to bridge the gap between the district administration and citizens through the optimal use of social media. Bhatti mines in Delhi, National Capital Region, is a home of refugees migrated from Pakistan during the war of 1971. As an application of their aptitude, smokeless chula was made by IIT Delhi students using locally available means. And this smokeless chulas were being used by these refugees. Now, the chulas which are there in this particular Bhatti mines area, chulas means smoke which is coming out by the dead wood. So they manufactured a chula, kitchen, a stove type of thing, where it is not going to liberate smoke. Aptitude of the students, such that now it's very simple to make it. Every person who is living in this particular Bhatti mines, they made a chulas in the year 1971 to 1981. Then onwards they got LPG cylinders, but before that, using aptitude, ability to learn coding and building computer software, or aptitude to understand the issue faced by certain sections of the society. So how we are going to use our skill, how we are going to use our knowledge for the sake of society is very important in aptitude of how Prashant Nair used it. Aptitude. So it's not only attitude, it's not only compassion, it is not only the behavior, it is not only the character, it is the reasoning is also very important. Next is attitude. Aptitude is skill. Attitude is what? Predisposition. Predisposition of an individual is called as attitude. We will tell, no, hey, this person have lack of attitude. That is wrong. That is wrong word. Attitude means my predisposition to one particular event or one particular section or one particular person is called as attitude. My attitude will be changing according to the situation. My attitude will be according to the section of people. My attitude will be according to the person. So it's my behavior according to the situation is called as attitude. A settled way of thinking or feeling about something. A predisposition to act, think, feel in particular ways towards a class of people, objects, or an idea. Likes or dislikes towards object, likes or dislike towards place, likes or dislikes towards a person. For example, I will tell you. What is attitude? You took a auto of one community person. That community person is auto driver of the auto. 4 times, unfortunately, you had a bad experience with that auto driver. He might be rash, cruel. You had a very bad experience. Then 5th time, again, you are going to catch the auto. You found the same community auto driver. Whether you will entertain to call him up or you will try for alternative. That is called as attitude. That is called as attitude. A predisposition towards an act, a predisposition towards an event, a predisposition towards a society, a predisposition towards an event. For example, people will think that government sector people doesn't have work. Government sector people will work. They will sit all times. Government sector people will have lot of money. Government sector they will be enjoying lot of money by corruption. 100% wrong this is. No, government sector, nowadays government people are working like hell. Long back in British times, government employment was enjoyable. Till 1990s, till information communication technology came into existence, till that time, the government jobs were very good. But now, except a few departments, except a few decision-making authorities, rest all are work-oriented. People became very much knowledgeable. Who gave you this job? They will tell simply. Bank officers, if he is sitting, he is not doing passbook printing. How much time you will take? Who made you to sit here? If not, wait, I will call a local leader. A gully leader also will. That is the situation now. So that is why that behavior, attitude towards the government employees. No, they are also doing lot of hard work. That is the reality. The reality is government officers are working a lot. But what type of attitude predisposition we develop? See, this person Prashant Nair, to devise the system, is it easy? Nearly 6,000 people he coordinated. Is it easy? 100% not easy. He should lose what? His personal time. He should lose what? His personal life. So attitude is not ego. Attitude is my perception towards an event or act or a person or a community is called as attitude. Depends upon underlying values of the person. I had my value. I developed my value. 4 times I had a bad experience with this community person. So obviously 5th time also I will have a bad experience. So better I will avoid this person. That is called as attitude. Determined mostly by nurture. Nurture also. Every time in the family, oh, don't go that side, or don't do this thing, or these people are like this. Multiple times, repeatedly, if got nurtured, then obviously the terrorists, how they become? The terrorists are attitude. A attitude developed towards one country or attitude developed towards one particular community. For example, Sunnis kill Shia. Both are Muslims. Then why Sunni will kill the Shia? Because it's an attitude developed towards the Shia people. So it's not about our behavior, it's about our behavior towards others. Is called as attitude. Attitude determines whether a person with right aptitude will succeed or not. Public servants with leadership positions require a more enabling attitude to lead the people and get the task. If you have an attitude towards one particular section of people, whether you can do good administration, it's nothing but a prejudice. Attitude is nothing but a prejudice. You already had a predetermined mind. These people are like this. This person is like this. These officers are this like. So if you have an attitude, whether you can give a good service, no. So attitude is also one thing which should be present in a civil servant. Means what type of attitude? Acceptable behavior. You should have attitude. What type of attitude? Adaptable attitude. You should have attitude. What type of attitude? Sacrificing attitude. You should have attitude. What type of attitude? Prudence, temperance, fortitude, and justice. Attitude should be there, but virtues type of attitude we need to have. That is called as attitude. Example, see, yes or no? Having prejudices against some section of society is, having prejudices for one section of society is, a theoretical physicist, astrophysicist, cosmologist, and eminent scientist. Stephen Hawking was diagnosed at the age of 21 years. His all parts are being went away. But he had an attitude. He is a person who studied about space. He cannot walk. He is paralyzed at the age of 21. But his attitude is, so that is called as having a positive attitude. We can learn from any example, you know. I know one of my student have 6 attempts, 5 attempts, failed. I'm not telling you to go up to 6th attempt, but that person has an attitude that in any cost I will crack this examination. In the 6th attempt to crack, multiple people are there. Attitude, a positive attitude. Don't give up attitude. Anything in the life, it's an attitude. Being strong is an attitude. What we need to have in civil servants, you are thinking if you study more, you will become an IAS officer. You will become an IAS officer, but you cannot sustain in the position. To sustain in position, you have to be very strong. You have to talk to people. You have to behave like a diplomat. You should have a lot of internal skills. You should have a lot of attitude, aptitude. These all things. There is something called as moral attitude, political attitude. What is moral attitude? Moral attitude refers to the ethical predisposition of a person. Why? Because moral. Or the ethical set way of thinking. Moral attitude is based on the moral conviction of what is right or what is wrong. For example, terrorists, we will have a moral attitude. Terrorist will be a wrong. Terrorist will be, that is called as moral. If we fix that one person or one individual person is wrong, what is right and what is wrong, that particular predisposition behavior is called as moral attitude. Not all attitudes are concerned with morality. Attitude towards snakes has nothing to do with morality, but attitude towards democracy will have moral undertones. So moral attitude means not only it's about everything, it's about sometimes cockroach we will see. The people will ready to catch the snake, but people will be ready. The people will ready to fight like anything, but they will fear for cockroach. That is called as moral attitude. Means attitude is a personal disposition. Individual thing is called as morals. And my behavior towards one particular incident or one particular position is called as moral attitude. Attitude, moral attitude. Political attitude. My attitude towards communism, my attitude towards capitalism, my attitude towards one religion, my attitude towards one caste, my attitude towards one region is called as political attitude. So in attitudes, we have two attitudes. One is moral attitude, other is political attitude. Political attitude for a thought process. Moral attitude for an individual is called as moral attitude and political attitude. Yes, doubts please. Yashwant? When politicians keep pressure on bureaucrats by saying orally, we can ask them to make it on paper and pass the order so that we can do that. If in that case, will there be any conflict, sir? What happens in reality, if any MLA, we no need to go till MLA also, a corporator will make a phone, please do this. Okay, please give in written format. He will keep his phone down. But whether he will forget? Now he starts another story. What is that story? Revenge story. So here comes aptitude. Here comes aptitude. If you tell, right, give in a written format, he will hurt, no. Nowadays, everyone will get feel. That I feel, if any person is feel, he will not keep quiet, he will take some revenge. Sometimes aptitude is important. So some things we can learn from movie also. In Raid movie, what Ajay Devgan will tell? Madam Prime Minister, nowadays everyone is making a call saying that I am Prime Minister, I am Chief Minister, I am Home Minister. So I am confused whether you are real Prime Minister or not. So how he confessed, how he told, how we give the information. In Raid movie of Ajay Devgan, he is an IRS officer. So in that movie, he will be raiding a 350 crore in 1984. And this person will unearth the money which is there, currency which is there inside the house, the total money he will be unearthing. The influence will go up to Prime Minister. Because this person who's 350 crore, 1984, 350 crore in cash means now nearly 35,000 crore. He influences, it's a real story. So he influences Prime Minister. And a phone call will come from Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi. He knows it's Indira Gandhi only. When Prime Minister tells, everyone should follow. Here, conscience is also will not work. Here only we have to be skilled, we have to be aptitude. Then he tells that, sir, Madam Indira Gandhi, Madam Prime Minister, nowadays everyone is calling and telling Prime Minister, Home Minister, Chief Minister. I am confused who is Prime Minister. So with due respect, just for confirmation, you write a letter and send me. I am asking because just to confirmation. I am ready to listen you, but I am confused because whether you are really Prime Minister or not. So please, can you confirm it? Very diplomatically. Then she understands. Okay, fine. So here not only conscience, here not only the honesty, it is here something which is called as aptitude is also very important. The next is, you got it, Yashwant? Perfect example. You watch, you watched the movie. Non-partisan. Non-partisan. What is non-partisan? Shravani, what is non-partisan? What is the meaning of this? English meaning? No partiality. There are some principles for bureaucracy. There are some principles for bureaucrats, like what? Non-partisan, objectivity, rationality, neutrality. This is what which is required in, if you become an IAS officer, this will be taught in your labasana. Anonymity, what you are doing, it should not come out. Sir, he came now, Prashant Nair. Not like that. Means, if any official work is there, you should not come out and you should not do a publicity stunt. Naturally, if it comes, it's a great thing. So, you yourself should not do a publicity stunt. What happened yesterday? Few days back, what an Uttar Pradesh IAS officer did, that type of publicity stunts are not allowed in bureaucracy. So, what we have to maintain? Anonymity, number one. Number two, how we have to work? Objectively. Objectively means what? Scientifically. Scientifically means what? Following rule of law. Your duty is to just follow rule of law. Objectivity. Third, neutrality. You have to follow rule of law. You should not be partial towards this section or partial towards this section. Why? Because you are going to deal with public. You are going to deal with people. So when you are going to deal with the people, obviously people will try to influence you. So if you get influenced, then you cannot give a proper service. So in order to give service, you have to be very much neutral. That neutral is called as non-partisan. That is also one trait which is required in bureaucracy. Not to side with any group, especially with political groups and parties. Decision should be based on evidence or rule of law. Ensure maximum public welfare and not a specific entity. Advice should be given without any fear of backlash. Your advice should be so much neutral. Your advice should be non-partisan. Your advice should be unbiased. Civil servant working with same enthusiasm and honesty and dedication irrespective of ideology of political party in power. But what happened? Nowadays, the secretary to the ministry is the principal secretary to the chief minister or the cabinet secretary to the prime minister. They talk as if they are council of ministers, as if they are party workers. That should not be there in bureaucracy. He should do his rule of law. Yesterday, local thing, the chief secretary Somesh Kumar of Telangana government, he is speaking with the news channel and he is telling that this government is doing wonderful things, this government is doing that thing, the government is providing jobs. It's none of his business. He is a chief secretary. He should do his duty. That's it. He should not pray any political party. Why? Because you are non-partisan person. Your role is to do the policy given by the higher echelons. So nowadays what? So if I be with this political party, I will get lucrative post. I will be getting posting in capital city. I will be becoming the secretary, or I will get a district collector post. It's common thing. But according to the bureaucracy, what principles we need to follow? Non-partisan. Social equality. Social equality. It is a state of being equal, especially in status, rights or opportunities. Equality is not affected by the need of the people or society. Equality gives same thing to all the people irrespective of their need and demand. Giving equal attention and equal effort by the teacher to all the students in the classroom is called as social equality. Social equality. You, an IAS officer, should look into the public with social equality. Means in the society, everyone is like a teacher, every student is important. In the same context, when you are a district collector, every individual is important. Equity. Equality means I have to see the public equally in the society. Then what is equity? This is equity. This is equity. Equality. I told everyone to watch baseball. I gave equal opportunities. But one person can see, another person cannot see. But I did my duty. What I did? You go and watch. They are watching. But one person is able to see, another person not able to see. Equity. It is not only giving opportunity, it is also providing the infrastructure, also providing the opportunity to watch, to perform. I am not only telling you to write the exams, I am also giving equal treatment, fairness by providing what? Reservation. Reservations come under equity. Reservation will not come under equality. So I allowed them to watch baseball, and I also made facilities such that they watch properly the baseball. That is called as equity. Fairness. Equity refers to fairness. Equity refers to justice. Equality is different and equity is different. Equality means by I'm looking at the people equally. Sometimes I should not look at the people equally. Why? Because all the people are not equal. Some are lesser, some are richer. So from richer, if I want to ensure equity, what I will do? I will take tax from them. And I will pump this tax into lower, such that these people come to the same level. This can happen only by equity. In order to ensure equality, first I should ensure equity. If I want to go with social justice, first there should be equity, then eventually equality, then eventually social justice. Samajika Nyayam. Equity refers to fairness and justice. Equity is about giving people what they need. What they need. What brings marks, not what you have. It focuses on giving more to those who need more and less to those who need less. Equity is positive discrimination. It refers to proportional representation to achieve a fair outcome. That is called as equity. Arranging extra classes and giving special attention to the academically weak students in order to reduce his or her existing educational achievement gap and improve his or her educational classroom school performance is called as equity. Giving extra classes, extra treatment is called as equity. Teaching class is called as equality. All are sitting equally. I am teaching the class with equal pitch, with equal voice. I am doing equality, but it might not be equity. Equality will not ensure equity, yes or no? Equality will not ensure equity. Equity is something different, and equity is which is much necessary. Equity is much necessary. Every time the equity and equality are not one and the same, but equity results in, but equality will not result in equity first or equality first. Hen first or chicken first. It's equity which results in equality. Rationality. Other characteristic of rationality, other characteristic of bureaucracy is rationality. What is rationality? Scientific. Scientific means evidence. Evidence, rule of law. So the bureaucracy should work on rationality. Politician, no need. We are not talking about the politicians. When bureaucracy come, when civil services come, when civil servant come, he need to work according to the rational principles. And the rational principles are rule of law. Being rational means being scientific, being biased, being based on an agreeable to reason or based on facts. Rationality implies the conformity of one beliefs with one's reasons to believe and of one's actions with one's reason for action. A person apologizes after argument realizing his fault is called as rationality. Being scientific, being real, being practical, being rule oriented, being rule of law is called as rationality. Rationality is also important trait which need to be followed in bureaucracy. Law, legality. Law, legality. Law is concept. Law is concept. Application of concept is called as legality. Law is static. Legality is dynamic. Civil servant should do legality by following law. If you don't perform legality, it's nothing but injustice only. Why? Because you are not performing law. Legality is a state or quality of being in conformity with the law. Means application of law is called as legality. Law is a system of rules, a static thing, system of rules created and enforced through social or governmental institutions to regulate behavior with its precise definition, a matter of long-standing debate. Law described as a science and art of justice. By paying tax is an example of law, and if you collect the tax, it is called as legality. Every civil servant should follow law, and following of law is called as legality. Every civil servant should follow law. Following of law is called as legality. Justice can be ensured by legality or law. Legality. Attending the class will not ensure success. Application of classes will ensure success. Legality is application part. Very, very important. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest every day, every individual will face. It might be a public interest, it might be a private interest. Conflict of interest is a common phenomenon. And if that is the case with a common man like you and me, then how many conflict of interest you will face if you are a civil servant? So in conflict of interest times, what you have to follow? You have to follow rule of law. You have to follow rationality. You have to follow equity. You have to follow legality. You have to follow non-partisan. You should not bend this side, you should not bend this side. You have to be very much straight. For example, a beautiful example is there. Here, an example of Vishweshwaraya. Maheshwar Rao. Yes. Conflict of interest. See, I will tell you. Vishweshwaraya also, when he is working in Karnataka, he is a very intellectual. Vishweshwaraya is a great intellectual. He is a mathematician. He is an engineer. Pandita Putra Paramasvantaha. So his son is underperforming. So in this college only, the son is getting very less marks. So teacher who is evaluating, he is worried. This is principal son paper. If I give less marks, he will feel. Then what I have to do? Then he took the paper to the Vishweshwaraya and went and told, sir, this is the performance of your son. So what I have to do? Conflict of interest. Final examination. Means internals are happening. In our internals, what happened in our engineering college? 20 marks, 19 marks. 20 marks, 20 marks. Party to the teachers. So, the Vishweshwaraya evaluated the paper. Vishweshwaraya evaluated the paper. How many marks you were been giving? He told one number. Then again he evaluated and he gave lesser number than the teacher what he told. Non-partisan. Conflict of interest is there. With public interest, if you give more marks, then public interest is affected. Why? Because the students merit. Private interest, his own son. He gave marks according to rationality. He gave marks according to objectivity. So conflict of interest you will face if you become a civil servant on everyday basis. A judge rescuing himself from hearing a case involving his son. Around the time when a crucial labor laws in Karnataka are being looked into to bring industry-friendly changes, the government decision to put the Principal Secretary, Commerce and Industry, M. Maheshwar Rao, in congruent charge as Labor Secretary. One person is there, he is called as M. Maheshwar Rao, a very good ethical person, but he was working as Secretary to the Industry and Commerce. Commerce at the same time, he is also Secretary for Labor. You tell me, when he is parallelly working for Industry and Commerce and parallelly working in Labor, whom he should support? If he support industry, obviously he should denote labor laws. If he work for labor, if he is a secretary for labor, obviously he should deny. So there the conflict of interest is there. Whether he need to go with industry or whether he need to go with trade unions argued that same person heading industries and labor department is conflict of interest. That is called as conflict of interest. If we give rational decision also, whether there will be benefit of doubt. If we give rational decision also, whether there will be benefit of doubt, obviously there will be benefit of. So we will be on the crossroad. A civil servant will be on the crossroad while making a rational decision if there is conflict of interest. So most often the intellectual civil servant, aptitude-oriented civil servant, what he will do? He will withdraw from the position. Then Maheshwara Rao, what he did? He withdrawn himself from Industry Secretary and he continued as Secretary to Labor. Now, whatever the judgment, whatever the decision he made, people will accept. Why? Because now he is a secretary only to conflict of interest. Ethical dilemmas. Ethical dilemmas when we are stuck up. Public interest, private interest. Ethical dilemma, what we have to do. You know why civil servants will be ethical when compared to politicians? 100% true. Civil servants are 10,000 times ethical, truthful than the politicians. Undeniably true this is. When a politician is there and a civil servant is there, civil servant is lakh times ethical, strong, honest. Whereas I'm talking about majority of the politician. Whenever I talk, I will leave exceptions. Majority of them I'm talking. Politician, he come from the people. Politician, he come from the people. He will be looking all varieties of people. Whereas coming a civil servant, when he is studying, when he is working, when he is preparing, when he is doing ethics and all, obviously will understand the pain. That is the reason in first attempt we should not get the service. Second attempt we have to get the service. Then we will understand the pain. When we understand the pain, we can understand pain of others. When we don't have the pain, then we cannot understand the pain of ethical dilemma. So when we are in crossroad, what we have to decide, whether it might be any public interest or private interest. It is a decision-making problem between two possible moral imperatives, neither of which is unambiguously acceptable or preferable. The complexity arises out of the situational conflict in which obeying would result in transgressing. If I follow this, obviously this person will get angry. If I follow this, obviously this person will get angry. That is called as ethical dilemma. Sometimes you have to choose only one. You cannot balance. Every time we cannot balance. It is impossible. Every time we cannot balance. Sometimes we have to take radical decisions. Then which decision you are going to take is called as your aptitude. Whether to save life of a baby at the cost of life of mother, or to save life of a mother at the cost of life of baby in a critical situation where only one can be saved. You tell me whether you can take a balanced decision. There is no choice. Which decision you are going to take? Ethical dilemma. I am telling you, UPSC interview, 6th attempt. Your interview is morning 10 o'clock. You have to enter into the gate by 9 o'clock. UPSC interview will be so much, it will be very corporate level, it will be there inside. It will not be like a general government office, corporate. They will make you sit in sofas, people will come with coffee. Certificate verification, you no need to go. They will come near you and they will certify verification and they will go. If you miss any papers also, don't worry. You after going home, take your time and send, they will do. What we think will not be in UPSC. UPSC is fully corporate. You have to experience it. Till you go inside only, it is government. Once you go inside, everything will change. So morning 9 o'clock, you are going for interview. Interview is scheduled. Last attempt, accident happened. No one is there. Only you are there. What you will do? No money kanta, wrong. Other person. మీ దగ్గర ఉందా మెయిల్ ఐడి యూపీఎస్సీ okay, what you are telling 100% correct. So you have to mail to UPSC, not UPSC member. UPSC office. Okay, he is telling that correct only. So we have to mail to UPSC office, main UPSC. More correct only, more. Acha, you are going to lift the body. So he is going to lift the body. Very good. Next. Anyone know, sir, I will go for UPSC interview only? That is called as ethical dilemma. During Operation Blue Star in 1984, you know Operation Blue Star, when Khalistanis are becoming so much aggressive, almost Khalistan is at the verge of achievement. Indira Gandhi had ordered to kill the Khalistani leader. And the information is he is hidden inside the Golden Temple. The complete army action was being levied, and the army people went inside the Golden Temple with the shoes, which hurted the sentiments of Sikh people. So that particular operation is called as Operation Blue Star. A soldier who was follower of Sikhism was asked to shoot in the Gurudwara. Shooting in a place of worship was against his religious belief. But not following the order of his seniors was against his professional ethics and professional duty. Thus, he faced an ethical dilemma of choosing from the option of his religious values and professional duty. What you are going to do? The same thing in 1857, when the first war of independence happened. The Muslims were being made to bite the cartridge. movie will see, no, will do and will throw. That is called as cartridge. So that cartridge is made up of pork. And the Muslims will hate pigs. So which is against their religious belief. What they have to do now? Ethical dilemma, whether professional ethics or religious ethics or personal morals. It is a personal moral, whether a personal moral or a professional ethics. That type of condition is called as ethical dilemma. Next, emotional intelligence. So we have to develop such type of questions, what type of answers we have to give, we have to develop on that. Those we will do. A separate topic is there which is called as ethical dilemma. Emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence will have to only those people who are having aptitude, who are skilled, who are knowledgeable, who are intelligent. No requirement of education to have emotional intelligence. Dhirubhai Ambani, 10th pass. Dhirubhai Ambani is not a graduate. Dhirubhai Ambani is not from IIM. What he had aptitude, he had emotional intelligence. He managed government. At that time only he learned the skill how to manage the government. Emotional intelligence. Ability to understand, use and manage your own emotions in positive way to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges and diffuse conflict. This is called as emotional intelligence. Example from life of Sundar Pichaiya. Summary I will tell you. Sundar Pichaiya, once he observed in a restaurant, a person, by seeing a cockroach, shouted like anything. Because of that, nearly 4 or 5 tables got disturbed. Then the same cockroach jumped from that person onto the waiter. Waiter was very calm, composed. He caught it, simply he thrown it and he came back. At that time he understood that it is not the problem, it is not the challenge which is responsible, it is the response to that particular challenge, it is the response to that particular problem is everything. And that response, if it is calm and composed, it is called as emotional intelligence, according to Sundar Pichaiya. So it might be traffic jam also. In the traffic jam also, sometimes we will be aggressive, sometimes we will be calm. So in the traffic jam, we cannot do anything, we cannot jump suddenly. If huge is there in between, we stuck it up, we cannot do anything. We cannot go also. Why? Because our bike is there. We have to carry it. No, we cannot fly. At that time, only what will work? Emotional intelligence. ఇలాంటప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి? అంకెల్ లెక్క పెట్టాలి. Emotional intelligence. Once Sundar Pichaiya faced the same problem, had been into the restaurant. A cockroach suddenly flew from somewhere and sat on one of the lady. She started screaming. Her reaction was contagious. Everyone in her group also got panic. She pushed the cockroach away, but it landed on another lady. Now same behavior repeated. The cockroach next fell upon the waiter. The waiter stood firm, composed himself and observed the behavior of the cockroach on his shirt. When he was confident enough, he grabbed it with his fingers and threw it out of the restaurant. This person is emotionally intelligent. The incident made Sundar Pichaiya to wonder whether the cockroach was responsible for that behavior. If so, then why was the waiter not disturbed? He handled it near to perfection without any chaos. It is not the cockroach, but the inability of those people to handle the disturbance caused by the cockroach that disturbed the ladies. Then he realized that it is not the shouting of my father or my boss or my wife that disturbs me, Sundar Pichaiya, but it's my inability to handle the disturbance caused by their shouting that. It is not the traffic jams on the road that disturbs me, but my inability to handle the disturbance caused by the traffic jam that disturbs me. It is our inability to address the problem. We'll tell, no, we have problem, this problem. So it's our inability to address the problem. It's our inability to address the challenge. I am telling you, if you become civil servant, every hour you will have challenges. Now, small problems you have because of your parents or your family. If you really become a civil servant, every day challenge, every day ethical dilemma, what to do, what not to do. If do this person happy, if don't do, this person is unhappy. How to manage, everything will be a management. Who can manage properly? The person who is emotionally intelligent. More than the problem, it is my reaction to the problem that creates chaos in my life. An emotionally intelligent person would never react in a way to such outer disturbances that it would create chaos in place of peace in his or her life. That particular person who is going to address the problem is called as emotional intelligence. It's called as emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligent after aptitude, I believe that. See, I am the person who believes that it is not education, it is not intelligence, it is everything is your aptitude. Everything is your emotional intelligence. Everything is your wisdom to grow. If you are having wisdom, if you are having aptitude, if you are emotionally intelligent, without education also we can grow. So that is required in today's civil services. Tomorrow, we will discuss about doctrine of double effect. What is this doctrine? Doctrine of double effect, passion, happiness, humility, temperance, vice, integrity, objectivity, fairness, impartiality, empathy, public service. In that way, we will be understanding the terms and we will be going on. I provided you the PDF. I gave you 5 questions also in the first page. Write answers and post in your group. At least 1. If you write 5, I will only evaluate it. Okay? Post in your answer 5 questions. Try. How much ever you can, you try to read questions first. Any doubts, please? Aishwarya, Devi Azmi. Principles are universal. Here, universal means for that society. Society is a universe in that context. Patriarchy is universal in India. Accepted everywhere. So, those in that principles, if one principle is most important, it is called as value. Ethos is a plural word for ethics. Combination of ethics is called as ethos. It's all come together. Bunch is called as ethos. Renu, Shivaram. No, see, that is sensible. They are crying, they are sensitive. Their actions are important. For example, I am emotional, I am sensible, because of which I might cry. But my action is not determined because of that emotion. I am emotionally intelligent. Means I am sensible. I am crying means good thing that you are very sensitive. You are very sensible. That means you are having humanitarian thing. Because of that only you are crying. But that moment should not influence your action. Your action is important, not your thought process. Sometimes you might doing against your wish, but you are following rule of law. Yes, you have to do. Why? Because it's emotional intelligence. But your sensibility is not accepting it. But still you have to do. Why? Because you are in government office. So sensibility is different and emotional intelligence is different. They can cry. They can sit and they can cry. After that, after crying, again some time will complete. No, we have to wait. Then we have to wait for the decision. But that sensibility should not determine the decision. Having sensibility is a good thing. Having sensibility is humanitarian. You are good, that is the reason you are crying. It's a sensibility thing. But that should not influence your decision. Thank you.